Okay, it is beautiful outside. We still have a lot of time till top of descent, but I want to knock it out earlier because I'm going to be explaining things, so it's going to be taking a little more time. So more time to spare is good for us. So first thing you want to start is check the weather at landing airport and as well as alternate airport. You want to check the information, weather information, and runway arrival runways. Now in the real world it's done different way, but we're in the sim, we're sitting home, so we have advantages. We have internet, and of course we're flying offline with no VATSIM or IVAO or whatever it's called. I don't fly that network. Sorry. But we are offline, so we'll be using the METARs and preferable runways, most common sense. So back to our information sites, AirNav, and you can see down below the METAR for George Bush Intercontinental Airport. It reads 290 at 4, 10 established miles, clear. Temperature 4, dew point -3, altimeter 3031, and no specific weather over there. Is just clear and nice. A little bit on the low side of temperature, but that's fine. And in this airport exactly, it's currently west operations. So let's rotate this clockwise. So the arrival runway usually is going to be like 26 left, either or 27, closest to the terminals when it's in west operation. So we're going to be expecting 26 left, and we are going to program it soon, but just to make sure, this is our arrival runway, all we need to know for now. Now alternate airport is DFW. It's the same type of weather, a little bit on the lower side on the temperature, 350 at 9, 10 established miles, clear, all the same, good, good to go. And it is north operation at this moment, so we got a bunch of northern lined up runways. It's either 35 left or 36 right, all close to terminals. So those are the arrival runways for this airport, even though in real world I can give you 36 left, 35 center, whatever, you know, depends on their situation. So but we're just going to expect it for us. That's on the first thing on our weather and landing info planning. Second thing you want to do is check on your cruise page, ECAM. This is the lower window here, that landing elevation states auto. This is what you want us to show. It's auto green checked. Now at this time we want to double check all our fixes and points and stars and arrivals and transition points are correct in our MCDU. So we'll pull up the arrival chart. It's trailer 4 arrival RNAV, and transition to 26 left ILS. So you can go already to you can access it all the way down here at AirNav and or flight aware, but you can go to the second page already and check which is 26 left. Did I say 26 right? Yeah, it's probably 26 left, Domino on track 87. So just remember that fix Domino, and 26 left, Domino Zoe. Yeah, you want to remember Zoe. That's correct. So you look at your last transition fix Zoe here. So and just go all the way from the start till the end. So at this moment I would really wish I would have something like PDF viewer and explain as we do for pre-par and FSX, where I can use, if you guys know that there is one out there, just text me on below the video. Alright, so after Cowboy, this is our transition, Cowboy transition, Charlie Victor Echo, then goes Torn, Riffin and Oil. Oil got a restriction at or below 2000, at or above, I'm sorry, flight level 240 at 280k. At or above, yep, we're good to go here. As long as I know speeds are not yet made on this aircraft, speed restrictions, so it's kind of sad, but Then comes D-plan at or above 220. Flight level 220, we're above 278, that's correct. SSTX import. SSTX import, and SSTX has got a range between 240 and 200. And that's correct. We're on top of it. And the next one is import 19016 and another speed restriction. They're still active for 280k. Import 188. I lost it for a little bit. Yeah, that's good. And driller 16 and 13, 25k. That's correct. Also, in real world, you check the actual coordinates of those fixes, but we're not gonna go too much crazy here. Driller, patrol 13, 11. And you can see the limitation of speed comes in handy here, so that means aircraft knows it. That's good. Domino. I just love the names for those arrivals, RNAV arrivals in many large cities in the US. 24k, and doesn't have a speed restriction here or a speed constraint. Sorry, that's my phone. And alright, so after that comes, there's nothing we can do about it on this aircraft. Then comes Zoe 7000 exact. You see that got pretty much ruled out. 7000 to 1k, 210 speed. Alright, and then it's pretty much our transition to arrival. Okay, now let's enter our approach. Now, just for your knowledge, this is only FMGS part of the lateral revision, so we're not going to read and remember and memorize and confirm all information on the charts at this moment. All we want to do is confirm is the date on the chart, and we're going to enter the lateral fixes that are we gonna use for this approach. So we're gonna use our LS localizer runway 26 left at Houston, and even though we're coming off of downwind and the FMGS MCDU, I'm sorry, draws first point as currents, which is it's like FAF there, final approach fix pretty much, or close to it. We're still gonna enter all these other fixes just in case, and that's a good idea to do it just in case the controller wants us to go that far, because you don't want to be at 6,000 or 5,000 and then they'll tell you proceed direct to VAN or MK or KIAD, and you only have currents in Japanese or whatever, and you start to enter it in MCDU. So you want to knock it out, all this type of work while you're at cruise altitude. So there you go, just enter it this way and insert, and I'll go one by one. MK, KIAD, oops, I messed up. And then clear the discount, whatever you have. All the discounts you need to clear, and double check on your lateral revision that all this info is lining up correctly. Now also as well enter your altitude restrictions for VAN it's 7,000, MK 7,000, then 5,000, because the MCDU would not know it. Then 5,000 for Greg. See, it's already given close to what we need. Then current is 3,000. Always double check with the charts. Yep. 3,000 above. We want to just square it out to 3,000 just to be on exact. And then Japanese 2,000. There's also one more fix is missing is Soroi. We want to enter that as well. Oops, I messed up again. Trying to be fast here. Okay, insert and clear discount. And that should be at 880. That's close enough, but you can still enter 880. I'll make sure you just dial 0 before. Unless some of the systems will write invalid entry. Alright, so there you have it. And just double check on lateral revision. That's your FMGS lateral revision for the approach. Also, good thing to do is double check where you at, what's going on. Usually the pilot flying will do that stuff, and if for some reason I'm flying the leg today and I need to double check the information, I'll tell your control, he's going to tell my control, I'm going to enter information, then I'm going to take control and he's going to review the information, and vice versa. Now also the part of the process here is to review the cruise and descent page. Now I know that in this model it's not totally made right, so there, I think a lot of stuff you cannot modify here. In real aircraft you can modify it, either cruise cost index or manage speed, desired or selected, or whatever you want to do. So, but in this case we're just gonna leave it alone. So now we'll go to the approach page and we have to fill that out as well. 18,000 feet transition altitude United States. Then enter the wind information here for George Bush, just refresh. 310 at 5. Double check that. 3105. Now, if there are any gusts in this airport at the moment, you don't need to enter gusts because the system will manage that on the approach. And our temperature is 4 Celsius and altimeter is 3030. It's easy. And MDA altitude for this approach is 295. You can also modify the landing configuration. For example, if anything is expected to go not normally, if approach requires it, for example, it might be wind shear possible on approach or whatever, or terrain, or in case of a go around. Now this time we're going to land with full configuration. Also as well, the VAP approach speed is currently showing 141, but we're going to double check it when we going to approach closer to the airport, and we're going to calculate ourselves just to make sure. We'll fill out the go around page. Here we can modify the thrust reduction, acceleration height, as well as engine out acceleration. Now for this airport we'll choose 800 and 3000 respectively. And engine out, acceleration height, we'll choose 1000. Also, what we want to do is check red nav page and make sure all frequencies are correct. For that, we open our ILS localizer runway 26 left and make sure it's 109.7 to 67. It's ILS frequency 109.7 to 67 set correct. Now, if there are any close VORs to that location, we want to enter them as well, or double check if that have been done automatically. And we can see there's a Humble VOR close to the airport. It's probably, we might need it, so just to make sure, yeah, because it's out of our missed approach. It has to do with our missed approach. So it's frequency 116.6. Now remember to check for the RLs for indication of those when you're getting close. So we just took it off from auto tune, which is fine. Your ILS into 67 still there. Also, you can do ILS standby or VOR standby. VOR standby not needed in this case. It's all gravy here. Just to make sure we can enter Daisetta 116.9er. And ILS standing will take if we get switched, which usually doesn't happen in this type of simulation. If we do get switched, for example, to 27, I would say, yeah. Let's check out for 27, runway 27 localizer. ILS localizer 110.9. And that's set. ADF, it's less century, so you don't really need it here in the United States, because we got all other good stuff. It's a good thing to enter that radial here, which is radial 270 to our holding point, which is LUCEP, whatever, how do you read it, I'm not sure, LUCEP, LUCEP, whatever. 270, okay. And that goes our radio nav page reviewed and checked. Now, and the last thing we want to do is check on your overhead panel if our GPWS system is not set to mode 3, and that would be flap mode 3 here, landing flap mode. That would be set to on. You need to turn it off since we're landing with full flaps. Other than that, we're just gonna be reviewing pretty much the information for the charts and weather and all other good stuff, and then doing the approach briefing. Now we want to start our approach briefing, and this is as follows. Pretty much as information we can get, but not too much to get confused. Alright, so transition altitude is 18,000 all across the United States, so this is not needed. Minimum sector altitude, MSA, is at Houston VOR 25 nautical miles. Radius is 2004. See, it's 2,400 here and 3,100 here, so 5,000 at our intermediate fix would be fine. So all the way down, or downwind for 5,000, downwind for 5,000, I'm sorry. That's in case like visual approach or anything like that, which is probably going to be most likely there. Let's review our red nav page again. All set here, all courses and frequencies set. And our MDA pretty much is 295 for this approach. In case of go around, missed approach, climb to 3000, then left turn heading 240. Houston, it's not Houston VOR, it's Humble VOR, radial 270 to Lusep intersection, to 22.9 DME and hold. The type of lightning used in the airport is ALSF 2 and localizer 109.7 set in red nav, 267 final approach course. Touchdown zone elevation 95, runway length is 9,400 feet available all way. In terminal area there is no high obstacles or anything have to do with high terrain rising. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, returning. I just heard it. Alright, and we're gonna expect to join the localizer at Greek, which is 18.9 DME, and at 5,000. Our airport terminal area looks like we are going to be exiting at November Hotel either, or November Foxtrot to the left on high speed, then joining either November Golf or November Foxtrot as assigned to a terminal, and our terminal is going to be Charlie 9, I believe. It's going to be near that stick, so we're just going to taxi back opposite side and just and see our parking. Okay, weather in airport, it's still haven't changed. Let me double check that. It's 310 at 5, 10/mile, clear. 4 at -2, 3030, and no significant weather in area. Our fuel currently, we're expecting 485 at Houston. For alternate airport we need 1.90. That's kilograms, of course. And how do I know that? This is your right page to look all this information. And at alternate airport, if we need to go to a DFW, we're going to have 285, 2 tons 85, and our reserve is 1.1. So without reserve we have 1.75 kilograms, 1 ton 750 kilograms of fuel, which is equal to approximately 40 to 45 minutes of holding. So that's that. And lighting configuration, it will be full configuration. Runway condition is dry. Spoilers will be used at either touchdown as well as reverse. Not necessary to use all reverse available, might use idle reverse as well. Our auto brake will have it on medium. And this is our approach briefing complete. Any questions? No questions. The speed will be reviewed upon descent. And and I really feel kind of funky since I got this Thrustmaster Hot S Warthog not long time ago, and those are really solid and great controls. There's like a joystick which I use like a side stick on the left since I'm sitting left, on the same pretty much level that Airbus has it, and there is a throttle quadrant which has separate two controls and a bunch of switches, but that's, you can Google and take a look, which I use on the right, sort of like a pedestal area. Now I also have a SciTech yoke which I was using for a long time. I will say like, oh my gosh, 7 years. So I'm pretty much got used to that. So I never ever and this is my like first week flying with side stick, like real side stick, which is heavy, and I'm still getting used to it. So if I fuck up on the landing, don't judge me too hard, because even with the Airbus I was flying with that yoke which was always in front of me, so it's gets a little bit timing to get used to. Alright, so we're pretty close. So I'm gonna go ahead and select our next. I would say since we don't have ATC, there's not pretty much, there's no point to play around with altitudes. The easiest we can go is the best. So let's have it at Zoe, which is 7,000, and let the FMGS do its thing. So we'll have it 7,000 here. And keep it up for now. Now, one extra thing you can do to comfort your passengers is to start with the vertical speed. For example, we're already closing by to our top of descent banana. So what you can do is slowly dial 1000 here, which is going to start a smooth descent. Then when it gets to 1000, you can do the managed mode and select it, and it's going to catch that yo-yo. You can see the yo-yo is above, and it's starting to descend, to creep up on us. No sudden drops whatsoever. Let's make sure one thing is right here. There is no really need to use weather radar at this point because whole area is clear around Houston. Pretty much next checklist we're going to do below 18,000 feet just as we cross. Now, as we get closer to flight level 230, we're going to switch to speed mode and select 280 for passenger comfort. Just trying to catch that vertical profile even now doing high speed. So I would say I will start to slowly bring back, and of course you can help with your speed brakes as well if needed. Just a tiny bit, just a tip. And of course we have some restrictions. At Driller they want us to be at 25k. Sorry, 250 knots, 250k. So let's start slowing down to this point. It's a good time to adjust your seat. That's closer to 18,000 feet. And check the closest station since we're flying offline, of course, 3027. There he goes, the approach checklist below 18,000. Approach briefing completed, income status checked. Barrow MDA set to 295 MDA. Seatbelt signs on. Outer brake medium. Set. Approach checklist completed. Okay, next flow is going to be at 10,000. We got a lot of tailwind, so of course it's trying to speed up. Have a tendency, I would say, to speed up. So we would use a lot of speed brake here. Okay, so next one, no restrictions. Now next one is Zoe 210K. 210 knots indicated, 7,000. Already have 7,000 set. Manage descent with selected speed. Now remember, as our chart says, after ZO we were flying 087, tracking 087, outbound, let's say downwind. Okay, we're approaching to 10,000 feet, landing lights on. Vertical speed selected. Checked. Lower down just a tiny bit. Okay, 10,000 checks, ILS, red nav checked, cross checked. It's my phone. And we have airport inside. Let's again check the weather. 30085, 3031 altimeter. close to it, so let's set it up. 3031 set. And we'll select the ILS button here, indication. As well as we can select our approach mode. Set and checked. Initial approach set. Engine mode will be in auto. Approach phase activated. Radar tilt. Radar not needed. And slowing down to green dot. Okay, pretty much we want to be at flaps 1 speed, 3 nautical miles prior to our final approach fix, which in this case is going to be Craig. Well, no, I'm sorry. This is disregard. Our final approach fix is Japanese, which is marked by this Maltese cross. So 3 nautical miles prior to it, we want to be at flap 1 speed. So that's pretty much going to be the current intersection, just for our reference. 7,000, and let's descend to 5,000. Open descent. And tracking outbound 87. Okay, cabin crew seats for arrival. Yeah, I wish I had a PDF viewer for Explain, so I don't have to switch between the windows. Okay, so we'll keep it at 210 with clean configuration for now. And we got a wind from northwest, blowing at 14, 15 knots. But that actually doesn't matter since we are in track mode. So aircraft is fixing itself to according to the wind, doing the wind correction here. Here's 5,000 feet, and we'll slowly start turning our base. descend to 3000. And to actually slow down things a little bit, we'll do a flap 1 right now and slow down some more. Speed check, FMA check, speed selected. Localizer, localizer live, loc armed. Approaching 3000. Localizer captured. Flight slope alive. Approach mode arm. GS captured. Manage speed. Actually changed stuff a little bit, as you saw. We didn't. We kind of narrowed it down a little bit. That's our final approach fix right here. Flap 2. Flap 2 set. Speed checked. Gear down, arm spoilers. Spoilers armed. Flaps 3. Speed check. And flaps full, speed check, eco memo, no blue, landing checklist, cabin signal given, out of throttle and auto, landing gear down 3 greens, eco memo landing no blue. It's pretty smooth out there. 1000 stabilized. Continue. Autopilot disconnect.
500.
Checked.
400. 300. 'Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Reverse thrust. Reverse lights up. Speed brake. 60 knots. Manual braking. Alright, and this is our next high speed on the left. November Hotel, left on to the terminal. Flaps up. Speed brakes up. Down, I'm sorry. I'll do the final items, I mean after landing items when you're straight up. Don't try to do it when you're on the turns. It's never a good idea. This is why we have a second person in the cockpit, right? APU start. After landing checklist, flaps up, landing lights off, spoilers disarmed, radar predictive weather system off, TCAS standing. APU is on. Okay, that's our turn here. Brake set. APU is available and shut down. Set ground power here. Okay, parking checklist. Parking brake and chocks set, inserted. Engines off, beacon off, seatbelt signs off, emergency exit lights armed. Yellow electric pump is off. Fuel pumps off. Parking brake checklist completed. And we're not going to secure it because we have a next crew coming in here for next flight. So thank you for watching. Hope you guys had a great time doing it, and we'll see you again on my channel. Subscribe and say hello. Now I found it. Sorry for such wait, but all this flight I wanted to do it. So yeah, when you toggle the flashlight, white flashlight, you're going to flush the toilet. Alright guys, have a great day, and again, thanks for watching. Enjoy this beautiful weather at Houston, which is much more better than cold Chicago at winter time. And of course, explain, which gives you so much realistic joy.